Hey, it's Barry.
And Dave.
And Tyler.
All right.
Here with Hooked on Headwaters, another edition. We're doing this one down here at the ramp on Headwaters Lake. And we've got, remember at the beginning, or our first video for the season, new faces, new places. Tyler is a new face here. This guy has got experience in local fishing, grew up fishing. Tyler's going to give you a little background on him. Fishes the pro circuit, so we're going to be able to bring some cool info through the year with him to you, those guys that are following the pros. Really good stuff. So definitely subscribe to Tyler's channel so you can follow him along the way while he's out traveling the country and hanging in some big fish there. So we'll get talking about that then in just a second.
It is Veterans Day, so having served myself, very proud, and I'm honored to put in my time and serve in this country's military. We want to extend a salute and a thank you to all the vets out there, all those who are serving today, all those who have served, and of course a big salute and a huge gratitude to those who gave it all and paid the ultimate sacrifice, and to their family. Thank you so much, and happy Veterans Day.
I didn't know that. Thank you for serving. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and as always, we're going to mention Davis House Inn, without question, the #1 place to stay when you come into town. When you hooking up with a guide like Tyler, you're like, where am I going to stay? Stay at Davis House Inn. We'll put Kyle's information below. Right on the Indian River, real beautiful river view, super clean rooms. If you're bringing a boat, you can hook up to electric. You can hose down your boats. Walking distance to lots of great restaurants and little bars and stuff. So definitely check out the Davis House Inn. The information will be below, and it'll be in the description.
And if you mention Hooked on Headwaters,
you get a discount.
So don't forget about your discount.
That's right. So
all right, I'm heading to
the camera. Go to your job. Dave just keeps picking these videos up more and more every time. So Tyler,
what's going on?
A little background, man. Why don't you fill everybody in on, we were just talking before we got started here about how little he was when he first got kind of hooked, so to speak. So yeah, maybe start from there.
Maybe I can send in some pictures. I got little pictures when I was a toddler, could barely hold this 10-pounder up that we caught behind the house. But yeah, so a little backstory. My name's Tyler Woolcoott. I fish the MLF pro circuit. Next year in 2022 will be my 4th year doing that. So looking forward to it. It's pretty cool. But how I got started, my dad, he's been a fisherman his whole life. He, when I was growing up really young, he was like a commercial fisherman. He'd commercial fish, he'd commercial dive, he'd take some people fishing on trips and stuff like that. So I grew up saltwater fishing, deep sea fishing, riding my little bike, skateboard around, catching saltwater, freshwater fish. We also had a lake in the backyard, so it kind of sparked my love for catching bass in that form. But everyone's a little kid, when they're growing up, they want to go to Bass Pro shops and do their shopping. And one day we went up here to Bass Pro shops in Orlando, and there was a junior Bassmasters club that had a little booth set up there. And me, my mom, and my dad, we walked over there and kind of got some info, and we signed up, and I went and fished my first little bass tournament. I was 11 years old. That was on the Conway chain of lakes, and I think I got 2nd place or something in that, and that kind of set my spark for tournament fishing. And I started in that junior club, and then I started fishing the junior club and another one called Teen Sport Fishing Association. For all you young guns out there, if you're around Florida and want to fish some teen clubs, Teen Sport Fishing is an awesome association, so check them out. But yeah, I started the Junior Bassmasters League, and then I went to Teen Sport Fishing. And then when I got into high school, I did Teen Sport Fishing and high school fishing. And then when I got out of high school, I did college fishing. And then I also joined in some co-angler events, say like the Bassmaster Opens or the FLW Tour when they had the co-anglers. I kind of mixed those in together. And then one year I decided to fish the whole FLW tour as a co-angler. This was the last year they had co-anglers, and I fished the whole division. I traveled around with a guy named Justin Atkins. Some of you guys might know him. I traveled around, practiced with him, and had an awesome year. I finished, I believe, top 10 in the points, so that qualified me to fish professionally at that level. So the next year, I believe it was 19, and 19 was my first year fishing professionally. So that's kind of like my steps there to get a little bit of a backstory, but
yeah,
pretty
right
cool.
on. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, it's fun to see that progression,
Yeah.
you know, where it starts. And it seems like with all sports that, you know, kids really get into it young and they just stay with it and keep working their way up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. I feel like the more you do, people ask me all the time, you know, how do I get better? How do I progress? And it's just like, if you just get out there and do it, fish as many tournaments as you can, no matter if it's local tournaments or BFLs or Toyotas or Opens. I mean, the more you fish, the better you get. So that's the best tip I can give anyone out there. So
Yeah,
pretty cool.
we just got that question from one of our subscribers. How do I get into, what's the best way to get started in tournaments? And my response was fish.
Yeah. I mean, even if you just have like a couple hours when you get home from school or work, just go fish a pond. I mean, even though ponds are a little different than, you know, coming out here on headwaters. I mean, it still teaches you stuff. You go out there and throw a new lure, or go out there and get a bite, and you're like, oh wow, that felt a little different. You just learn like little things that you can turn into techniques, or
yeah,
you know,
that are going to pay off in the bigger waters. You're like, oh, that's a familiar feel.
Yep.
Right on. Okay. Should talk a little. Well, let's talk. What areas do you since you're a guide in the off season?
Yeah, I hadn't mentioned that part yet. But yeah, I do some guiding now. I'm basically a full-time angler. I try to I didn't want to, you know, when I'm not fishing professionally, I didn't want to go try and figure out some day job sitting at a desk. I love being on the water, whether that's professional fishing or seeing people catch big fish. So I started guiding. This will be my third year, but it's kind of been a little spotty. It's hard to kind of pick that up, but I do freshwater guiding and I do saltwater guiding, and I do some guiding here on HEadwaters Lake, some places around the Orlando area, any of these lakes around here, and then I also do saltwater guiding out of Ponce Inlet, Florida. So my saltwater stuff's mostly like big redfish, snook, tarpon, black drum, anything like that. So if you're interested, but
yeah, in Ponce Inlet, that's what people are coming in. They're staying in Orlando. They're going to Disney World. They're staying kind of over there. It can be a little bit of a drive to come down here. You know, of course, it's a little distance to the inlet as well. But
yeah,
if you're looking for something to do, you want to take a really cool freshwater saltwater run. That's the great part about where we live. We've got really great bass fishing lakes, but then you can turn around and go east just a few minutes, and we've got the intercoastal, we've got the inlets you can fish, we've got the beach just offshore, near shore, those kind of things. It's just great opportunity all around. So if you're looking for those, you know, it's all a dual, you know, take one fresh, one salt, hit Tyler up. I'm going to talk a little bit about boat, but we want to welcome Tyler to the Hooked on Headwaters family. He's going to be, you know, a regular face on the show. When he's out of town, it's going to be really cool because we're going to be doing some live connects, you know, live streaming. We're just going to follow this guy around the country. So stay tuned for that. We'll get some, you know, for me, even, you know, I don't get the chance to travel all around the country. You know, we hear about these lakes these guys are fishing, but, you know, you can Google Earth them, but it's not the same. So we're going to be doing some live streaming with Tyler, so you can kind of show us different lakes and things around the country that, you know, just different sites and things like that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So that'll be bringing something interesting to the channel. It breaks things away from the norm. So why don't we talk about your boat a little bit here? You know, that you're not only fishing pro out of, but guiding out of.
Yep.
What is it like?
So this is a Blazer 650 Pro Tour. I started working with Blazer. This will be my next year will be my third year working with them. This boat is a 21.5 foot boat, so it's a huge boat. It's super wide. It's got a big old front deck up there, so you can have plenty of people. Say we're for fishing shiners, or if I got a couple clients that want to do some artificial stuff. There's plenty of room on this boat, so I've been loving it so far. I got this Blazer 650 Pro Tour for the freshwater stuff, and then I have a separate boat, a Blazer Bay 2400 that I do the saltwater stuff. So
yeah,
awesome boats, love them, no complaints.
Right. No, that's great. And you know, you got a lot of deck on that boat.
Yeah,
a lot of deck. So when it comes to, you your clients, are you finding most of them like the shiner side, the artificial side? I mean, I know you fish anything, but
yeah, it's kind of a half and half. You know, you get those, some guys that are kind of hardcore anglers and they want to go out there and catch artificial fish, and they don't mind if it's a little tough, you know. But there is some people that you get some calls from. They're like, hey, I just want to catch some fish. I want to catch as many as possible, and I want to have the most fun. And usually those are the people I try to get them on some shiners, because it's cheating, but it's not cheating. You're still catching the fish, but it's definitely a whole different way of doing things than an artificial. So
yeah,
you know, sometimes artificial outplays the shiners, but when people call and say, hey, I just want to catch fish, I'm always like, we need to get some shiners.
There you go. Well, we've got the fall transition taking place now.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that transition, you start to see using different baits than you would dead summer. You know, so what do you see coming in as the more productive, potentially, lures, if we're going artificial, once we get into this fall pattern and you know, into fish starting to spawn and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
What do you like the best?
So the coolest thing I like about this Headwaters Lake here, this is only the second year it's been open. There's so many different ways to catch a bass out here. You got shallowest water you can get your boat into, then you got little ditches and things that get up to like 20 feet of water. So there's just like so many different varieties. You got grass, you got ditches, you got, you know, all these different ways to catch a bass. So it kind of spreads things out of things you can do. Like he said, it's that fall transition coming up. Fish are going to be feeding. They want to get themselves as fast as possible for that spawn. So you know, a top water, punching, throwing a moving bait like a chatterbait or a spinnerbait, things like that. Awesome ways to catch a bass. We even catch them out here deep, like I said, in around like 20 feet of water. You can find rock piles and trees and things like that, and them fish will stack up on, and you can catch them deep. So it's pretty cool. That's why I love coming here.
Do you have a #1 favorite topwater bait? What's your go-to? First thing you're going to grab when you're going to throw topwater? What you're like? You're going to use?
Probably a frog.
Yeah, mine too.
Me too.
A frog or a devil's horse are my two favorite. It seems like with that devil's horse, so you can't cover as much water. So I like to throw that frog. You know, maybe locate a couple, and then pick up that devil's horse. And that devil's horse will, if you work it slow enough, they can't resist it. So
yeah, that lure's been around forever.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, without cheating, don't go Googling it. I think we might have done this before too. What year did the devil's horse come out? Do it without cheating. Everybody goes to Google and types it in real quick. Let us know, and let us know what your favorite baits are as well. Coming in, you know, to this change of seasons, what's your go-to baits? All right, so getting off the top water, when you're going deep, what you like? Types of baits, like I said. Well, you don't have to give up your trade secrets, but
it's hard to beat just a plain old Texas rig worm, whether that be like a 10-inch worm or like a speed worm or something like that. That's a good way if you know they're bass down there and just want to like drag something slow and pick up those fish. A Texas rig worm is always good. We catch them on deep diving crankbaits, say like a Rapala DT, like 14 or 16 or a 20. And then we also catch them on like jerk baits and rattle traps. We yo-yo like a 3/4 ounce rattle trap sometimes. Okay. And that'll trigger those fish too. So.
Gotcha.
Whether it's super deep or even in those ditches, we kill them fishing a worm and a trap in those ditches. So.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite. You know, here's a question for you. My favorite go-to, absolute without question, is the 5-inch or 5.5 inch. Next, I'm not pushing Bass Pro Shops, but it happens to be the pack that I get. And it's a black and blue, you know, Senko-y kind of style worm. I rig it with the little corkscrew method, you know, a little weight on the shank of the hook. I guaranteed I'm gonna catch fish with it.
Yep.
But I don't get the big ones. So do you feel that the size really makes a difference? In other words, if I upscale to an 8 or 9 inch worm, am I gonna just not get as many bites but probably get better quality fish? Or do you think the big ones will grab that smaller worm as well? I know it's kind of a weird question, but
there's very rare times I'm throwing a normal size Senko or a normal size worm or a normal size speed worm here in Florida. They're just, I mean, even when we throw like a 10-inch worm or a big speed worm or something like that, we still catch, you know, those tiny fish, and you're like, how do they even get that in their mouth? So it's not like they're not going to bite it. So you're not like missing out on too many bites, I don't feel like, and you still have a big presentation to get those big ones to bite. So I'm always throwing like a 13 fishing like a 10-inch worm, or like a big speed worm or something like that, or even like a big Cinco style bait, like a 13 fishing makes a bubble butt, and they make a big version and it has like a floating tail. So I'm pretty much always throwing that style of a bait.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like a bigger bait here in Florida makes that big of a difference. So.
Yeah, right.
Unless it's cold. If it's really cold, then yeah, you might want to simmer it down a little bit.
Downsize the bait a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, just something if, you know, Dave knows I've got my couple go-tos that just seem to, but, you know, they always catch fish, but of course we want the bigger ones.
I mean, that's a big thing too, though, is like confidence. And like when I'm traveling around the country, like there's a couple things I know I have a lot of confidence in. When I get somewhere brand new I've never been before, I'm usually going to pick up something I know how to do it. I know how to catch fish on it. I'm going to go try that first. So if you come out here for the first time, don't be afraid to just throw things you like to throw. You never know. I mean, people catch them out here on pretty much everything you can imagine. So just come out here and do stuff that you like to do, and I'm sure it'll work out just fine.
And I think you hit on a key word there, confidence. You always have that confidence bait. And I play, you know, I fall into this trap. I'm confident in that black and blue worm. So when I go switch off to something else, I don't feel like I'm working it with the same intensity or the same focus that I do with the one that I have confidence in, because I know when I'm working out exactly what's going on. And then they tend to get impatient. I don't know if anybody else out there has this same issue. I can't be the only guy doing this. So comment below. Yep, I get stuck in my little rut of the same lures. So breaking that pattern, I guess you would recommend just pick something totally different. Leave your other stuff at home so you don't get, you know, feel like you can just switch it out, and then just try different baits. See what they have. Maybe that'll help work yourself out of the falling back on your confidence base. That
could work, but a lot of time I always have like a full boat of tackle, so it's hard for me to agree with you there. But it just takes like a bite or two. I mean, even if you just force yourself to throw something that you know people catch fish doing, if you just force yourself to do it and just get a bite or two, the way you'll feel about that bait is a lot different. So
right, I think that's where I was going with it. Yeah. Once you get those hits, then you're like, okay, now I feel more confident about this. Yeah, I know just for me, confidence in one bait, I work it a certain way. If I switch to another bait, I already kind of have a negative thing. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I'm going to go back to my confidence bait. But
I hear you.
That's just why you're the pro, and I just sit here and talk.
I'm just telling you how I feel. Everyone has their own different styles of fishing, and you'll probably go out there and kick my butt most of the days, but we're just trying to have fun, you know?
Yeah, right, yeah. And that's what it is all about, is having fun. But I tell you, it's, that's my hardest thing. Okay, so you're guiding freshwater, you're guiding saltwater. How does somebody get hold of you?
So the easiest way to do that, I guess they'll leave my information below, but say like a phone call or a text message. But I also have a website. It's just tylerwoolcottfishing.com. Hopefully that will be down there too. Or you can look at my Instagram, Tyler Woolcott, Facebook, Tyler Woolcott Fishing. You can see what I've been doing, fish catches, but those are the easiest way. I mean, the easiest thing to do is just give me a call or text me. But if you just want to check out kind of my rates or the fish catches I've been having, you can check out those other social media links. So. Yeah,
and then we'll have all Tyler's information below so you can get hold of him without question. So you can call him, call us, either way. We'll get you set up and you'll have a great time. And got a wealth of knowledge, you know, spending years, you know, even you get out there on the water playing that on the pro side, you learn a lot in a hurry.
Yes, sir.
So I'm sure he's going to be more than happy to pass off some of that knowledge to you without question there. So with that, we're going to wrap this one up here. We just need old Dave to get back behind the camera.
I'm coming. All right,
guys. Thanks for watching. As always, we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll have Tyler's links in there. Go follow him. Follow his adventures around on his YouTube. We'll have his other information that you can hook up with him to get in contact with. Thanks again to Davis House Inn, as always. We appreciate you. And that's going to wrap up this episode. So.
Please, guys, comment. We welcome all comments. If you got any questions for Tyler, you can certainly comment them below. We'll pass it on to him. Yep. Again, we want to welcome Tyler to the Hooked on Headwaters family. It's awesome. We said season 2 kicks off with a big bang.
That's it.
And we're proud to have him on here. And we're going to do lots of good things. Lots of great things coming up.
Looking forward to it.
don't forget, please subscribe. It really helps us. Hit those thumbs up button, thumb up. So thank you.
Absolutely. And if you have not caught our Veterans Day video,
Yes.
we'll put a link to that down in the description as well, so you can check that out. And we'll put a card up there somewhere, that side. All right, folks, that'll do it. Thanks.
right.
See you in the next episode.
Thank you. God bless everyone.